Welcome back. We're getting you the latest updates on the nationwide Chakka jam by farmers. It's kicked off about 30 minutes ago at 12 p.m. It will go on till 3 p.m. and security has been beefed up across the country. Let's start off with what's happening in Bengaluru, where protesters blocked the Bangalore-Hyderabad highway, after which many were also detained because permission wasn't given for this. Farmers also took to the streets in Punjab's Mohali. The call is to block national and state highways in protest against the internet ban in areas near the farmers' agitation sites and also alleged harassment faced by farmers at these sites. Now, these farmers have reiterated that they will not back off until the 3 new farm laws are withdrawn and their demands are met. Protests are being held at Punjab's Singu border and at Krishna Chowk in Gurugram in Haryana. Hundreds of farmers are on the road sloganeering. The situation in Delhi is peaceful. Normalcy is very much there on Delhi's roads. The farmers have said they will not enter the national capital, but the police is leaving nothing to chance. Around 50,000 personnel have been deployed in and around the national capital. Delhi's Khan Market, Nehru Place, Mandi House, ITO, the Delhi Gate metro stations, they've all been shut. At least 12 other stations are on alert. The Kisan unions have given an assurance that the protest will be completely peaceful and there are no protests that are planned in Delhi. But these visuals coming in from Bengaluru of protesters trying to block the Bangalore-Hyderabad highway and were immediately detained by police personnel who said that there was no such permission given on this road to hold an agitation. They were taken in and immediately we understand that the road was cleared off. This is the only place where there's been a bit of tension. Every other location, while there has been a lot of security, they are being allowed, these protesters are being allowed to go ahead and hold their Chakka jam for a few hours.
जो जरूरत की चीज़ें जैसे एम्बुलेंस है, बच्चों की गाड़ियां हैं, आर्मी की गाड़ियां हैं, वो सब मुक्त रहेगी। और एक ज्ञापन दिया जाएगा उत्तर प्रदेश उत्तराखंड में, जो जिला अधिकारी का नाम प्रधानमंत्री का नाम जाएगा उसके द्वारा ये रहेगा। और ये उत्तराखंड और उत्तर प्रदेश का जो चक्का जाम का ना होने का वो है, वो संयुक्त किसान मोर्चा का ये, क्योंकि गन्ना की कटाई चलाई भी चल रही और दूसरा एक गांव, हर गांव, एक गांव से 15 व्यक्ति एक ट्रैक्टर, क्योंकि काम भी प्रभावित ना हो, किसान की नज़र खेत में भी और किसान की नज़र अपने आंदोलन पर भी।
शहीदी पार्क में हमने प्रोटेस्टर्स को परमिशन नहीं दी है कि यहाँ पर असेंबल होकर चक्का जाम कर सके, क्योंकि इससे दिल्ली की जनता को भी इनकन्वीनियंस होगा। तो हमारी जो डिप्लॉयमेंट है उसके 2 मकसद हैं। एक तो प्रोटेस्टर्स यहाँ पर ना आ पाए ताकि चक्का जाम ना हो और ट्रैफिक स्मूथली चलता रहे, और दूसरा लॉ एंड ऑर्डर प्रॉब्लम ना हो, तो जिसके लिए हमने एहतियात यहाँ पर बरता हुआ है और काफ़ी स्टाफ फोर्स भी यहाँ लगाया हुआ है।
Let's cut across to this report by Detained from the Singu border.
हमने देखा भी अभी यहाँ से कुछ वाहन निकले हैं, उनको बाकायदा निकाला, आर्मी के वाहन थे, लेकिन ये तस्वीर आप देखिए। और दूसरी तस्वीर नवजोत, ये जो ट्रैक्टर मेरे ठीक पीछे आ रहा है, ये देखिए आता हुआ ट्रैक्टर दिखाई दे रहा है, ये वो है जो रिप्लेसमेंट है, जो लोग सिंधु बॉर्डर पर लगातार पिछले काफी समय से धरने प्रदर्शन कर रहे हैं। तो यहाँ से अभी भी दिल्ली की तरफ किसानों का जो कूच है वो जारी है, यानी कि सिंधु बॉर्डर पर जो तादाद पीछे कम हो गई थी, फिर उसके बाद राकेश टिकैत प्रकरण हुआ और उसके बाद वो तादाद लगातार बढ़ गई। तो अभी भी ऐसा नहीं है कि जो लोग सिंधु बॉर्डर पर बैठे हुए हैं उन लोगों को किसी तरह की कमी आ रही है। अभी भी यहाँ से रिप्लेसमेंट, मतलब हजारों की तादाद में ट्रैक्टर और जो वाहनों का काफिला है वो दिल्ली की तरफ लगातार अभी भी बढ़ रहा है। और जिस जगह पर मैं खड़ा हूँ यहाँ पर ये हजारों लोगों का हुजूम अपने आप में बता रहा है कि जो चक्का जाम का ऐलान किया गया था वो हरियाणा, पंजाब, दोनों ही राज्यों में पूरी तरीके से फिलहाल सफल होता हुआ नजर आ रहा है। इतना ही नहीं, बहुत सारे जगह पर गांव और शहरों में लोग
So that is Satyendra there getting us a report of what's happening at Shambu border, where you see that in fact there is a Chakka jam being held. The road has been closed off using tractors, and you see there the number of people who have gathered in many areas. While there are reports coming in of protests being held or sloganeering, it is very, very peaceful right now, and in many cases they're occupying only one section of the highway. Let me take this across to Milind Sharma. She's joining us live from the Singu border. Milind, at these border locations of the national capital, what's happening? Because we're being told that the protesters are not being allowed to move. Are they trying to move, or have they made it clear they're going to stay where they are?
Well, I'm coming to you live from inside the Singu border, where I have very little network, but I can tell you we've spoken to the farmer unions inside Singu border, where they've been sitting for the protest. They have said they have no intentions to move from here. At this point of time, protesters from Singu border at least have not moved out towards Delhi. The situation on the border is very calm right now because the police has put in place a heavy deployment barricade. We've spoken to the farmer leaders. They have said that yes, there are Chakka jams happening at the end of the Haryana Punjab border as well, and there are Chakka jams happening at other areas like in Amritsar as well as in Mohali near Chandigarh. But this particular part of Singu border remains as it is. People are sitting in protest, but the protesters are not moving out of the Singu border at this point of time.
All right. Milind, thank you for that report. We'll keep coming to you. We understand that there is a bit of a problem also with your connection there, because inside Singu, they've cut off the internet. But let me also take this across to our other reporters. Nagarjun is joining us live. Nagarjun, a bit of drama that played out in Bengaluru. There were attempts to block the Bangalore-Hyderabad highway, we understand, but immediately thwarted by the police.
Well, that is true, but it is not as much as had an impact with the Delhi borders. But in Bengaluru here, 15 such farmers did agitate right here where I'm standing at Yelahanka police station junction, and immediately they were detained by the police, completely jam-packed security behind me as well. So 15 such protesters did come here, wanted to take up the Chakka jam. This is the Bangalore-Hyderabad highway, national highway, but they were detained right now, and they'll be released in an hour or so is what we are told. So it's not that it's completely, as similar to the Delhi protest, but however, Bengaluru also is seeing few protests of Chakka jam, but it's not as big as Delhi. As we can see, only 15 to 20 protesters were here, and they were detained at this point of time.
Okay, Nagarjun, thank you for getting us that update. So earlier there was an attempt to hold a massive protest in Bengaluru that was immediately stopped by the police, who said that they had no permission to block the Bangalore-Hyderabad highway, so immediately cleared, and we understand that traffic is being allowed to move there. In several areas, as I mentioned earlier, highways, there are protests happening, but the area is not closed off. There's only a section of the highway that's being occupied by these protesters. This Chakka jam will continue till 3 p.m. So if you're heading out of your home, be sure to check whether you're covering any state or national highways. There could be some protests in these areas. Let me also tell you what's happening in Jammu. On your screens are the visuals coming in of some protests happening there. Over 40 farm unions have expressed their solidarity with this Chakka jam call, and that's why several protesters there in different parts of the country have come together for this agitation. In Jammu also you see some incidents of protests happening, but they have closed down parts of the highway as well with their protests. The numbers are only swelling up now as time passes by. You've got the protesters really mobilizing, coming together for their agitation.
और यही वजह है कि यहाँ पर इस तरीके की व्यवस्था की गई थी। पुलिस के साथ साथ महिला पुलिस की भी अच्छी खासी मौजूदगी थी, और आप देखिए ये महिला पुलिसकर्मी है जो महिलाएं यहाँ पे प्रदर्शन करने आई थी, उनको यहाँ से ले जा रहे हैं। आप देखिए ये बसें जो यहाँ पर तैनात की गई थी, प्राइवेट ऑपरेटर्स की बसों को पुलिस ने यहाँ पर पहले से तैनात किया हुआ था, और इन सभी को जो लोग प्रदर्शन कर रही यहाँ पे पहुंचे हुए थे उनको यहाँ से बसों में भरा जा रहा है और ले जाया जा रहा है। कैमरामैन प्रदीप गुप्ता के साथ हिमांशु मिश्रा, दिल्ली, आज तक।
Attempt to protest there in the national capital being thwarted by the police. The Delhi police making it very clear they will not allow any agitation to happen within the national capital. Himanshu just got us that report there from the roads of the national capital. We understand this was in Burari, where a few people had gathered. Immediately the entire crowd was dispersed. They were detained also. This is at the Shahidi Park in Burari, where people came together and tried to stage a